It's now time for In Case You Missed It, where we cover the extraordinary, the hilarious, and the downright wild stories that you might have missed the first time around. And here to help us break them all down is our executive producer, Cameron Malmstrom.
Thanks for having me, Riley. Happy Friday.
Yes, it's about time. So the first new clip we want to share today has echoes of that clip we showed last week, actually, of former Democrat House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who's, by the way, an amazing stock trader, apparently. But in any case, so before we play today's first clip, let's just remind our viewers of what Nancy said last Tuesday regarding her conniving coup, and it was a coup, of the former occupant of the White House.
I love him, I respect his family and all the rest, but it was at a point where we had to win the election.
Shameless, truly shameless. Well, not to be outdone by nervous Nancy, Pocahontas, Democrat Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, also came clean, finally, at long last, and issued her own mea culpa when she was pressed on the cover-up itself.
Do you regret saying that President Biden had a mental acuity? He had a sharpness to him. You said that up until July of last year.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
I said I had not seen decline. And I hadn't at that point.
You did not see any decline from 2024 Joe Biden to 2021 Joe Biden?
Not when I said that. You know, the thing is, he was sharp. He was on his feet. I saw him. Live event. I had meetings with him a couple of times.
Senator, on his feet is not praise. He can speak in sentences is not praise.
All right, fair enough.
So, Cameron, did you also just get a major case of deja vu there?
Yeah, I had to pick this clip today because it was just so similar to the one we saw with Nancy the other week. It's like everybody in the Democrat Party is just saying their I'm sorry's to everybody now, and it's just, like you said last week.
The apology tour.
Yeah,
right?
the apology
yes,
tour. Yeah, it's a lot too late, actually. Not a little too late, but I guess it's refreshing to see them all come clean now, finally. But I just wish they did this
it does
months
prove
ago,
something,
you know?
doesn't it? It does show that these politicians, many of them, not all, but many of them are just totally inauthentic.
But Riley, I want to play that clip again, and I want to point out something here. Guys in the control room, can you roll that tape again, and I'll tell you when to pause it.
I said what I believe to be true.
And you think he was as sharp as you?
Pause it. There. Right there. Would you look at her? That is the face of someone who's been exposed and who knows they can no longer keep up their dishonest charade. It's just ridiculous.
The next clip we want to share is one of Donald Trump from almost exactly 14 years ago that a lot of people probably have missed along the way, and this was long before he decided to run for president in order to get this country back on the right track. So I want to bring this up now during these times of tariffs and the trade wars to make a broader point here about the amazing level of consistency this man has shown when it comes to actually standing up to foreign countries and negotiating with adversarial ones that have been ripping us off for way too long.
Somebody said, well, what would you do? What can you do? So easy. I drop a 25% tax on China. And you know, I said to somebody that is really the messenger. The messenger is important. I could have one man say, we're going to tax you 25%. And I could say another, listen, you motherfuckers, we're going to tax you 25%. You said the same exact thing. You said the same exact thing, but it's a different message.
So I guess 25% seems paltry compared to the 145% tariff rate Trump has now slapped on China, but that clip really shouldn't surprise anyone, should it?
No, not really. And, you know, I wanted to bring that clip up, too, because it's so relevant to what we're talking about today.
Yes.
And
yes.
It's amazing to me how people just they think that all this is coming from out of the blue for Trump, and they don't realize that he's been talking about this for decades. We were talking about it the other day with him on Oprah back in the 80s, saying the same thing over and over, and nobody should be surprised by this. So I'm glad to see him bringing this up to the forefront again. And really driving this point home. I wanted to bring that clip up because I uploaded that online actually back in 2011, long before he ran for president, and I was very enthused to see him run. and it's just a great clip.
Yeah, it is, and it does speak to his consistency. So I like the tariff approach, don't like it. At least the man has been very clear about his intentions, even before he got into politics. But speaking of Trump, just for a moment, the final story that we want to share with you all is in regards to this iconic Make America Great Again hat. We've all seen it, of course, and if you thought this hat couldn't trigger the left any more than it already does, buckle up. Because one of the hottest pieces of political gear, really of all time, headgear I should say, is getting a major update. Dare I say a refresh. So the Trump organization is now selling this new Trump 2028 edition on its website for $50. For all we know, this could just be, it could be a serious idea, or more likely an epic troll of Democrats and rhinos. But Cameron, what do you think about this hat?
I love it. It's obviously mostly intended as a troll. It's not for his campaign either. It's to the Trump organization, so they can do whatever they want. But I just loved seeing the media freak out about this and saying, oh, he's a dictator, he's trying to be in power forever. Clearly not getting the gist of the joke. But it does kind of, in my opinion, kind of bring up the broader point of, term limits. And I think term limits are a good thing, actually.
Yes,
and I do in general support them for the president. Obviously FDR was a president who had the presidency for 4 terms. And then after that, they changed it. But, for most of American history, that wasn't a thing. So, I think it would at least be worth revisiting to see if that's something that we could either, amend or allow in certain extreme circumstances when we have a great president such as Trump that the people want to stay in power. If they truly want them to stay in power, I don't see why, if it's put to a vote or anything like that, why we couldn't allow them to stay longer. I know that's maybe a little bit of a controversial opinion, but, it's worth considering. It's worth talking about.
I agree. I think we should put it to a vote, and I also think we should put it to the viewers, our fantastic audience. So I want to hear comments. I want to hear feedback about this. What is everyone out there thinking about the idea of looking at that amendment and saying, you know what, is it time to revise it? Is it not time? And if so, why? So I know there's a healthy, vigorous debate about that, and I'm not sure entirely how I feel about it. I can see both sides, so I just want to put that to our audience and see what they think about it, because it's an interesting question, and I think it's one that really deserves our attention as a country right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, anyways, that concludes everything with this segment, and thank you, Cameron, of course, for being here, and happy Friday.
You're welcome.